Hiya guys, how are you? This morning I woke up, I was trying this like a tad bit yesterday, or maybe it was like 2 days ago, but I just kind of woke up and tried it again, I guess, had a different idea. Today I woke up and I actually beat Amius, the Lunar Archon, on hard, which is the first time, the first rotation I've ever done this. Honestly, it's the first time I've even attempted it because usually what happens is I get, all of the little keys to come in here and fight him, and then I go in here and then I have absolutely no available champs. So this is the first time where I felt like, okay, these are champions that look like they could actually beat this fight. And sure enough, it was not pretty, it was not quick, but it was a win. Shrug? I don't know. Something to note also, I'm free to play. The champions I'm using are absolutely not. I'm blessed with a lot of really good champions, and those will appear in this video. So I do apologize. But yeah, so this is the team I was running with. Taurus, no explanation. Rector Drath, we've got heals. We do have a revive in case somebody dies. I want to say nobody died. Elytray Blade Master, even though this is an insanely good champ, this is honestly one of the first times I've really had an opportunity to use him anywhere. He didn't end up making it into any of my hard teams. Or I'm sorry, any of my Hydra teams. So this is really, yeah, first time using him, I would say. Like, obviously I've got him 60'd and everything. Ugo, my team was not doing anything without the decreased defense, so I had to bring him. He's also got his heals. Harima, good champ. She's got her passive. We need more damage. She can also decrease his defense with her A2. So just, yeah, all around. And also, everybody tanky. Tanky, I've got nukers, but I've got tanky nukers. So they're hopefully not going to die. And then, like I said, this is the first time I had ever attempted this fight. So I was, learning all of the mechanics for the first time. I'm sure I made mistakes. We can all laugh about them together in the comments section, or you can let me know if there's like some mechanic that I'm not understanding or playing incorrectly. So yeah, like I said, by no means am I like the Amius, the Lunar Archon expert or something, but this is what I did to win, basically. And yes, this fight was like 14 minutes long. We will not watch the whole thing, unless you really want to. But so for those of you who haven't done the fight yet, he does have two forms. So right now we're in the form 1. And the first thing, these two abilities, right? First thing he's going to do is reduce the duration of all of your buffs and decrease the duration of all his debuffs. And then second ability, he's going to stun you all. And he removes any debuffs essentially, and he converts them to the opposite of that debuff. So like if I had placed Ugo's black buffs and decreased defense on him, he is going to replace those with black debuffs and increased defense. So it's absolutely horrible. You do not want to get caught out using stuff at the time you should not be doing it. So if you're wondering, like, why isn't she really using anything until, why isn't she using anything? That's why I'm waiting out these two abilities, essentially. So we've got the huge unremovable shields, unremovable buffs, which is also helpful because he can't remove these buffs from us. I just figure, even though that's not doing a lot of damage, I'm going to come out with the Harima A2, start decreasing his defense, because God knows we're going to need it. Look at the absolutely abysmal amount of damage we're doing. Also, so this ability is a big stun, so the Elytray black debuffs, I always want to have that up when he's going to use this, or else we're going to get really behind. And I did go ahead and increase the duration of all of our buffs with Taurus. So I'm just sort of biding my time until I can finally use this ability and decrease defense, so we start doing a tiny bit more damage. And we really, he's going to go to his next form in 1 turn. So I basically just have this tiny little window where I can actually do a little bit of damage to him. So we'll just start coming out with attacks from everybody. Now, I don't want to use this ability because he's going to switch forms and I want to use it then. So this ability, unresistible, unblockable, sleep. Super fun. And then he'll basically usually just go right into his other ability, which he's going to do right here. And sort of like the other form, I want him to use these two abilities before I start doing anything. Otherwise, he'll purge my stuff. And it sucks. You can see I'm like reading this. I'm like, okay. I end up just going for, you know, the decreased defense again. I'm once again deciding. And then now, oh yeah, that ability is very fun. This one, where he just ignores shields, ignores defense on the person. Thank God I was able to survive it both times. That is the worst ability, by the way. Every time I had a run lose, it was because of his A1, which is ignore shield, ignore defense. If he like crits you, you're basically just going to die. And then the passive on it, he will immediately go into his other abilities. Like he's basically like the Rotos of bosses. So essentially, I just got lucky that he used that a couple times and didn't kill any of my champions. So I'm just a lucky person at this point. You can see we're actually doing visible damage to him by this point, but you know, that's about all we get. He comes back into this form, he heals himself for like 20% of his HP or whatever the heck BS. And then, you know, we're going to go through the dance again here with the, you know, I want to wait out these two abilities before I let Ugo place the decreased defense. Here's the stun that we were able to block. We'll heal up again. He does heal a little when you heal, but it's not like game losing. As long as you're doing enough damage, which I'm really not. I'm really not doing any damage. So now we can come out with that again. You can see even the War Masters are very helpful, hit hard. Doing a little bit of damage. Just a little bit, I would say. We'll come out with the Tara's nuke, increase everybody's buffs, super, super helpful. And as you can see, we're already coming back to the other form. Such a big fan. The unresistible sleep, again, huge fan of unresistible, unblockable debuffs. And now we're back, and we'll go through the dance again. Like I said, this ability, this is the worst one, so we are obviously going to survive it, or else this video wouldn't exist. Kind of have to be careful when to use the black debuffs. There is like a taking method with this ability. Like he targets like your highest awakening champ with the highest defense or something. Like I need to read it more closely, but yeah, I don't have like a specific tank for that. You can see he's like always attacking someone different with it. So to be completely honest with you, I don't 100% have a handle on that mechanic, but he's hit Ugo, he's hit Harma, he hit Taurus once, so I don't know. He'll also use it if you like decrease the duration of one of your abilities. So I think that also might have happened from like a mastery or whatever it may be. Again, don't have 100% handle. Oh, and I'm sorry, I said we weren't gonna watch the whole thing, but here we are watching like 4 minutes of it already. So, you know, it's basically, it's just the same process, you know, being smart about when I'm using black debuffs, when I'm using my giant shields, when I'm using decreased defense, black buffs, when I'm using like the Taurus ability, when damage dealers are using their abilities, when we're healing. So just have to like constantly be thinking of that stuff. You know, when to attack versus using an ability. Harma once again survives, thank God. Even got the counterattack, which does decent damage. Will damage again. So you can see by now, with my increased defense, or I'm sorry, decreased defense kind of abilities, like I've actually decreased his defense by a substantial amount by now. We're actually hitting fairly hard. And this is kind of the point where I was like, oh my God. We did have a minor mess up here. He had these abilities, or he had the debuffs on when he went back into this form. So he did convert to the block debuffs. Increased defense, but fortunately I've already done quite a bit of damage to him, so it was not completely game losing, but definitely a mistake from me. Little scary, because this is why it took 13 minutes. But fortunately, not game losing. We're already back in the Eclipse form. We're somehow getting lucky, not getting crit into oblivion by this ability. If I can get the Ugo leech on him, that's also helpful. Actually getting him low, like thinking to myself, like, wow, could this be a thing? There he goes again with that. Scary, scary ability. Obviously not going to do much to somebody like Taurus, but the other people, it's pretty scary. And here we are back in our other form. So fun, regenerating all that HP. I love just doing this for 10 minutes. Big fan. And then it's sort of just the dance of continuing to get him low, just slowly chipping away. And then obviously, just to add even more fun on top of the situation, you can't kill him in the Eclipse form or he'll like revive with whatever the heck. I don't know. I did not want to chance it. So, I'm being very hesitant here. Even like these War Master procs could get sketchy. Placing the block debuffs again because I know he's about to go back into the other form again. And I want to, be able to block this ability, the stun, because it's like one of the only crowd control abilities that he places where you actually can block it. So we definitely want to have it for that. Oh, this was also a mistake. I should not have used this until he used this ability because he's going to do the debuff conversion thing. So he's going to turn it into 3 turns, which in raid is like infinity. 3 turns decrease defense, 3 turns block debuffs. So that was a huge mistake by me. I definitely threw that a little bit. So once again, making mistakes, extending the duration of this fight even longer. May as well expand those buffs, right? Or extend, rather. But I guess I could kind of tell, like, I think I can do this. Even though we made the mistake, I think we're still golden. Much decisions over whether to use my block debuffs or just attack. I guess I went for it. Get a little heal off. We're coming back to Eclipse. Unfortunately, he takes so many turns back to back in this form that, like, we'll get rid of these, nasty buffs. And I can probably come right back in with the Ugo decrease defense. Should it be up? Oh, I guess maybe I'm waiting for the other form? I don't know. I had some kind of strategy. Yeah, I guess, yeah, because obviously I don't want to kill him in this form, so. But I do so little damage, I didn't really think it was much of a concern, but better safe than sorry. All right, so get our block debuffs again for this big stun that we know he's going to come right out and lead with. Or I guess not lead, but use second in this case. Getting so close. May as well extend the buffs, even though the decreased defense isn't on. I'm just waiting for him to use this ability. And then I could go in there. This is what works for me, by the way, guys. Like, it's by no means a good team. The time is eternity. So, whatever you think. Like, I don't have HP burn. I don't have brimstone. I've seen people using those things. And now we're coming out. We're doing real bona fide. That is damage. That's actual visible damage. The War Master actually kills him. I was literally shocked. Stunned. We got all of our mythical stuff. Not gonna lie, I probably sold 90% of it. Garbage rolls, not even worth keeping. I think the accessories were like the best. Some of those were okay. Taurus, 3.3 million damage. Rector Drath, 2 million, which really shows you the power of War Master in this situation. I was talking about it with a friend, and we were like, yeah, if I had gone through and put War Master on everybody, it probably would have been much smoother, but like, there is a limit to how much effort and how much gear I'm gonna swap, how much masteries, how much, like, I could have put like brimstone on somebody. Just, I'm not putting that much effort into it. It's a absolutely silly fight. So oh, sorry. Continuing. Rectorpath, 2 million damage, 1.4 million on Alatreon. He also has War Master. Ugo, 1.7 mil. I purposely chose my Ugo that does have War Master because I have two and the other one doesn't. He has resistance mastery or something. Harma, about 3 million here. So some damage coming out. Dude obviously has a ton of HP. He heals constantly. It's super duper fun. I can show you the builds if you're really interested. None of them are super amazing because, like I said, I don't spend, so they are very, very average builds. Let's take a look. That is Matara's build. That is, yeah, that is it. Lethal. All that good stuff. Harima, again, not super duper amazing best build ever, but I did the best I could. You know, I try to get him in the ignore defense stats for PvP. I don't think it really helped a lot in this fight because the dude has like 11k, it's like 11k defense, 12k defense or something like that. Maybe even more. I think I was reading that earlier. Elytreon, don't use this build. I don't remember whose build this is. But this guy's buffs are always protected versus bosses, so this is a silly, silly build. I can't remember which, I put this on him forever ago for like a Cursed City fight, and I just never took it off. So this is somebody else's gear. You could probably find a better set for him, I am sure, because all of his buffs are already protected. So very, very silly set. I feel like oh yeah, oh, the others were epics, I guess. So that's my Rector Dreth. I do have her in the Relentless, and the Relentless can actually hurt you in that fight. I think it helped me more than it hurt me. But when you're reducing the cooldown of your skills, depending on the form, it might like reduce the cooldown of some of his stuff, or he might just outright use like certain ability on you. So maintenance, okay. But why does she have a rank 12? Resistance. What was I doing with that? Who knows? So clearly was doing some group shopping at some point. But that's my Rector. Last person was Ugo. I have two. I was using this one because, like I said, he has the War Master, which can do literal millions of damage in that fight. I had to go harder on the accuracy than I usually do. I had to switch to accuracy banner, and I also switched to quad roll mythical crit damage amulet that I have 56 accuracy on, because you do need like, I think it's 450 for this fight. So I did need a little bit more accuracy. That is normally not what I use on him. Normally I think a resistance banner and, you know, HP defense, whatever for my Hydra. So, but obviously he's still a pretty tanky dude, and yeah. Okay, you guys. Well, I doubt this video helped you much because it's such a silly fight. Yeah, I guess my review of it, I would say it's very, very poorly designed. It's not a fun fight. I genuinely enjoyed, I mean, the new rotation just started, but I genuinely enjoyed going through my champions and figuring out clever ways to beat every Doom Tower boss in the game, every dungeon boss in the game. And this is just not a fun one. It's stupid. You know, it's like, I don't like when games ignore their own mechanics, where it just like, it takes everything you've learned and it's like, oh yeah, that doesn't apply in this fight. Like, because the point of the mechanics is that, you know, you use them to use your brain and progress through the game. But in this fight, they're just like, no, that ignores defense, that ignores shields. The sleep is unresistible. It goes through block debuffs. You know, like they just take all the mechanics and they just ruin them, I guess. The one ignore defense ability, it just feels like RNG, like if I'm gonna die to it or not. Like if somebody would have died to that at any point, it would have ruined the entire run. So I don't know. You know, it's like they just have like a counter to everything. They're like, and then he heals by his max HP, and you can't kill him in this form, and this happens, and this, you know, don't use this set or this mastery, or else this is gonna happen. So yeah, I don't mind if fights are difficult. It has nothing to do with that, but I do think the design is just punishing, and And badly designed, I would say. Yeah, because, you know, they could have made a hard fight that was creative and it didn't just counter everything they knew you would try to do. So, yeah, I probably phrased that all badly, but that's my little review of Amius the Lunar Archon. And again, this was on hard, so I guess I'm a shoe-in for normal whenever I make it over there. But as always, you guys, thank you for hanging out with me and watching me stumble my way through yet more raid content. You guys take care of yourselves. Goodbye.